In this video, I want to talk directly to manifesting generators with an ego defined and how important it is to have a rest day. You know, you have your week and you have to make it a rest day one of the days of the week. And I'm doing this video because this was a recent experience that I had myself. I'm a manifesting generator and I have 4 motors on my human design chart. So I have the root center, I have the sacral center, I have the solar plexus center, and I have the ego or heart center defined. So I'm a 4 motor being, so that means I have a lot of energy going on around myself and inside myself. And something that I also have in my life is a lot of passion, right? So I've kind of encountered my purpose, my life's work, which is what I'm sharing here. I'm very passionate about things, and especially human design, gene keys, self-knowledge. I have other passions that I don't share in this channel. I have also my passion for my brand, Brad and Lola, in another account that you can follow that I do with my wife. That's my kind of primary focus. But this is also passionate for myself. So whenever you're passionate about something, and you're an entrepreneur at the same time, it's very hard to have rest days because you just want to go. And that's what happens with ego centers. And let's put a little bit of context and description of what the ego center is and what's the difference between the ego center and the other motor center. So when we say that a center is a motor, it means it has a specific kind of energy that moves us forward, right? So the root is one of the most primary centers of energy, of motor energy. The root is all about pressure. It's all about, giving that stress, that first initiation, right? Boom, bah, like a push. That's the root center. The sacral center is different because as a motor is a generative as energy every day, right? That's why generators have a sacral center, because it's about generating energy one day after the other, right? It's constant. The pressure of the root is just with burst of energy, right? It's different. Then we have the solar plexus, which is very different from the pressure from the root and the constant generative energy of the sacral. And the solar plexus is more profound, it's more deep, and it goes with waves. And it's about desire. So whenever we feel desired by something or we desire something, we move towards that something. And it comes with waves. So it's not constant, it's not bursts, it's wavy, right? It's a different type of motor. And then we have the ego center. And the ego center, it's a different kind of energy motor. And I like to explain it as on a car, you have the fuel, but you also can have something called nitroglycerin, which is like if you push like a button and then the car just boom moves, right? But that you can use that for a certain specific amount of time. It's different from the root because the root is like very spontaneous. It's like boom, I give you like a push, and you have a push towards something. But that's very quick. The ego center can last several days, right? But it's a motor that will run out of energy, and then in order to back the energy up, you need to rest. And if we talk about the type of manifestors, which is a type that we have, all of us manifesting generators inside. So the natural manifestor is one that is driven by the ego center. That would be like the main type of manifestor. But we also have emotional manifestors, and we also have root motored manifestors, and we have also other type of manifestors which are coming from the G center. So the ego feeds the G center and the G center feeds the throat. But the typical one would be the manifestor that is fed by only the heart, because that's about the willpower. And yes, you can have willpower, but manifestors are meant to manifest, have an energy, have an idea, and go about it, manifest that energy. But then they are meant to rest, because generators ideally will follow that initiation, right? Manifestors are here to initiate and inform the community, especially the generators, to follow that lead, that initiation. That's the same that happens with the ego center, because the ego center is very connected to that manifester style of energy, right? So what we want to do is be conscious of that yes, we can use that energy that will give us this, I don't care about my sacral energy, I just can follow what my ego and my willpower has. And these are extremely motivated people. There's only 1/3 of the population that have the ego center defined, right? And we are told that we all can, be motivated all the time. And that's not true. Like true motivation comes from the ego center defined. And that's what if you are in this video and you're watching this video, probably you have the ego center defined. So that means you're extremely motivated as myself. So the problem here, or the struggle or the challenge, comes when you're truly passionate about something, like myself. You're an entrepreneur like myself, and you have all the time that you have, even though I have a family to take care, I have a kid, a 1-year-old, and that makes things more complicated. But I can organize myself whenever I want. I can work on the night. Nobody is waiting for me, right? I can do whatever I want. So this can end up in using the ego center all day long, like every day, single day. And what happens is that you will burn out. That happened to me in the past. I was burned out. I had to leave I had a human design channel and Jinkies channel and other things in Spanish. And I had to delete the channel because I had to move forward and move on. And I had to, close that cycle. But I was really burned out because I gave myself too much. And I was driving myself from the ego center. Yes, I was very passionate about what I was doing, but I was forgetting I was a generator. Yes, we are manifesting generators, but we have a generator inside of the manifesting generator. So mainly, we are generators with energy of the manifester. So we don't have to forget that if we are doing things, we have to do them from the sacral. And yes, we can use that willpower to go that extra mile, but we cannot work every day like from that extra mile, because we will burn out. So you can also feel this, and I think that's the point of the video. It's just very healthy and very important to have rest days. When I say rest days, for me, rest days is not about doing anything. It's just about doing less and doing more leisure and pleasure stuff. So you can still do things, but that are not related to work, or that are maybe more to nurture yourself and to, rest and recover, right? You can still do things, but don't push from that ego center. Let that ego center recharge. So if you do that one day, if you do it for 2 days, better. But I think it's very important in every week to give yourself a rest day. A rest day means a day for yourself to, lay down, rest, go slow, and which would be the ideal thing every day, right? But as I was saying, when you have all these motors, and especially you have the ego center defined, it's very hard to rest sometimes, because if you're passionate, you want to just keep going and keep creating, right? That's what happens with entrepreneurs and people that are passionate about what they do. So yeah, what you need to give yourself is a rest day, and that's just these videos just to gain some more clarity about the ego center, how it works, and also gain more compassion, more peace, knowing that this is how you work. And yes, you will need to rest, but you will see that in that rest day is very productive, in the sense that you get a lot of creative stuff, but you will also recharge that willpower to keep going after that rest. So if this resonated, please let me know in the comments. If you had any question about this specific topic of manifesting generators, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions about the manifesting generator type and how it works in a specific example, you can leave it also in the comments. You have also a forum where you can ask your question and I will answer it in a video. But remember that we are on this series of the manifestor generators, which I'll call the embodied manifesting generators, which it's all about giving advice from my experience as a 6-2 on how I live my design and how you also can apply some of these tips. So if you give also your feedback, I can make more valuable content for you and for other people that may be going through the same. So yes, and that's it for today. You can follow along in this series of videos. There's a lot of videos about the manifesting generators and how to live this type and take the most out of it.